Oh, another game where Michigan State is road underdogs and down 4 at halftime. Gee, wonder if they won by double digits. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for tuning into tonight's episode of Locked On Spartans. It's your team in green and white 5 days a week. Please rate, review, subscribe. Just talk about Jace and Trey in the comments. My God, my two favorite people of all time. If you're watching on YouTube, you're a little confused with what's on my forehead right now. I did tweet out during the game, as Jace was absolutely killing it and keeping us in the game in the second half, that I would tattoo his name on my forehead. Right after Trey HOLLOMAN, not one, not two, because he's just not a wuss. 3 times he drilled 3-pointers. So I said, fine, I'll do Trey's name too on my forehead. So this is the permanent ink that I have my forehead. And over there, you heard him laugh. That's right. It's Mike Jones. Now, he's 1/3 of the wonderful Can't Read, Can't Write podcast. Just sensational work over there you guys do.
Best joke so far.
I'm going to edit that part out. I got you on, not because I like you, Mike, because you guys do great work, but I have a horrible cough going on over here. I can't do a solo show for 30 minutes, so I just needed someone to bounce back and forth between. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to take a little hit of this cough syrup. I understand you're coming down with something too over there. So before we go any further, let's just do the medicine and talk about this game, because the first thing we got to start with, I'll let you take it away here. What's your biggest overreaction from this game as Michigan State wins by double digits on the road again, now sharing, in quotations, even though it feels like we're in the driver's seat, of first place in the Big Ten? Overreaction. Let's go.
All right. Do you want the Michigan overreaction or the Michigan State overreaction?
Give me the Michigan, because I feel like there should be some hatred after this game. We talked about this with Greg Waddell before. I really felt an emptiness with the hatred, but we'll build up there. Go on.
All right.
Go on. Yeah.
Well, so it came out before this game. Michigan has signed Dusty May to a multi-year extension.
Sure did.
IU, I just want to say you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. We know you're not funding football, but shout out to Greg for pointing this out. FAU did this exact same thing when Dusty May was the coach there. They did not foul when they were down to extend the game. Dusty May, I'm not saying he would have won this game, but he gave this game away much like he did at FAU. So, I don't know. I guess he just doesn't have that fight in him. Though, he does kind of give me some American Psycho vibes when he's sipping his water bottle over on the side. But anyway,
unsettling, but yeah.
That's my Michigan overreaction. Sorry, some more cough syrups needed.
Understandable. Right.
Not beer for anyone who's curious. That
is water. Correct.
The other piece of this at halftime, I had to note that this was going to come down to either shooting or some testicular fortitude. Yeah. Believe it or not, this team showed both of those things. Trey hitting Trey 4 Trey times was incredible, but the offensive rebounds to end the game, the hustle this team showed,
sure,
not phased. This is the stuff come tournament time that matters. And the whole shtick about Michigan was that they would win close games down the. I didn't see it.
Not if it's not close down the stretch. That's the kryptonite right there. Is we'll just be up a smooth 8 points going into the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was we were up 6 at the 3-minute mark or something like that, and I was like, oh, this is teeing up to be the narrative about Michigan.
And then our defense was there. You haven't run into a defense like Michigan State, because that's my overreaction. And look, I talked about this before we started recording, Mike, and I need to out myself as a liar here, because when we do the game time ad reads, I say sometimes, hey, for you procrastinators out there like myself, I'm actually a big planner. And part of this planning is like I do plan the show during games, but only one side of it. The first half, I started planning, okay, what am I going to talk about when this team loses? Because I didn't really think they were going to win this game. I thought Michigan's front court and Danny Wolf would be a little too much for Michigan State. And well, let's be honest, when you give up an 18-2 run in the first half, why should I think positively about this team? So my whole thesis was going to be, well, this team just justified who we thought they were the entire time. You have a point guard that really isn't an offensive threat, okay? You have Jaden Akins, who's a senior that I can't believe you kind of hope for more from him. You have a front court that, can't go against top-tier front courts. But, it is the same takeaway that I had from this game. This team is who we thought they were. They are defensively tenacious enough to stay in any game possible. They can weather an 18-2 storm. They can be down 4 on the road at halftime and have it not be an issue whatsoever. They have a man by the name of Jace Richardson. They are deep enough where you can have a pop-off game from Trey HOLLOMAN every once in a while when your other guards are kind of struggling a little bit. And by the way, that bank is always open for Jeremy Fears too. Let's go.
Yes, it
My
is.
favorite part of that game, and there's a lot of favorite parts to talk about. Cohen Carr being great in the first half, of course. Trey HOLLOMAN daggering 3 after 3 after 3. My favorite part is a Jeremy Fears bank 3-pointer, then Danny Wolf airballing one on the other end. And my first thought was, see, that's why you use the glass. That's why you do it. Every elementary school coach has taught you.
They teach you.
It's your friend, Mike. The glass is your friend. Danny should have known that at the final stretch, but oh man. That's
do you find as someone who, you got to do this 5 days a week. We only do it once a week.
I do. Yeah.
But that there's something that's a bit uncomfortable about winning in that it is, because I was listening to your show with Greg, and he said that he tends to swim in MSU Twitter circles more because we're
very healthy. Yeah. Right.
We're more realistic. Well, I don't know about that, but we're more realistic.
Yeah.
And I do think there's, particularly when you've got to say things about a team, there's a tendency to be more critical because it's easier to talk about the shortcomings.
Yep.
But what's the most this team has lost by? 8?
That sounds right, doesn't it?
It was by free throws at the end. This team has what did we lose to IU by? And that felt like a pantsing.
No kidding, right? I think it was 4 or 5 maybe at the end.
Right,
you're right. You're right.
We felt like that was an embarrassment. And so I think the reality is we got to be honest that this team's defense is for real. And, you're right. It may, I don't know that carries forever and ever. But at some point in time, we got to be honest. This team's good. And as imperfect as it is, it's also good. And that feels uncomfortable.
Which, in a weird way, makes me comfortable because this is like the Michigan State basketball we grew up on.
Yes.
We just took a 3-4 year hiatus. So, we're in a very odd spot right now. If you're an old weather person like me and you, Mike, I sort of have that crisis about, how much time has passed when I talked about Eli Bickle. He commits to Michigan State. Hey, he's cousins with Matt Costello, and he played about 4 or 5 years ago here. No, Matt Costello played here a decade ago. It's oh my gosh. But for the Michigan State basketball that we remember, it appears to be back. I mean, it's fantastic. Look, we're just going to lament about this game for a very long time here. But first, you need to talk everyone's ears off about FanDuel Sportsbook. That's right, America's #1 sportsbook. Guys, when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there is no better place to get in on that action than with FanDuel. Like I said, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game like I did. Guys, I'm a sick puppy. You know me. If I got to see my team lose, I want to be compensated for it. So, yeah, when Michigan was +2.5, +6.5, someone here may have wagered a fancy bet on Michigan, but hey, guess who's very thrilled to lose that money? It's yours truly. But hey, anyway, if you're a sane person, you want to bet on sports normally, do it with FanDuel, because let's say you have a hunch about a fourth quarter comeback in the NBA. Well, stay in the action with FanDuel. And if you're looking for an even bigger payout, you can combine your live bets into a same game parlay, guys. And my favorite part about FanDuel is when I do win these bets, which I actually do. You should have listened to the college football episodes. We were above 500 in our best bets. You get paid instantly with FanDuel. You're not waiting commercial break after commercial break after commercial break. Oh, my God, it's midnight. Where's my money? No. No, not with FanDuel. They take care of you immediately. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That is FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Now, let's drag them back out here once again. It is 1/3 of the wonderful Can't Read, Can't Write podcast. And hey, I got a bit. You know what? This is a really well thought out question. Really,
all right.
Just high.
I was going to take over your podcast, so
sorry.
I was going to take over, so shoot your question. Here we go.
Jace Richardson.
All right, I told you this before we started recording. You need to change your Roy ads.
Yeah.
To say that people need to fund Jace coming back.
Yeah, I will drain my 401k for him to come back. I would do it. I would do it.
Jace is electric. He is the reason we won. Well, it's hard to say that because in some ways Jace has put out the performance that we expect from Jace.
Isn't that crazy though? Right.
I'm good. At this point in time, I'm comfortable with it. Early on in the season, it felt like he put up a shot and I'm like, it's going in. I think Trey's the reason we won this game. But
okay.
I think at some point in time, there needs to be maybe this pressure taken off of Akins by getting, and I only mean this to say Akins is still a great player and that I think is a key for us making a run in the tournament.
And his defense hasn't slept, especially.
Oh my God.
Right.
Dude is everything you'd want in a Spartan.
Mm-hmm.
But if we just shift the usage over to Jace and let Jaden just play a little bit more free, like I don't know. I think that's a win-win as far as I'm concerned.
I'm just still blown away by Jace. And I know it's ridiculous because you can't expect this every night out of him, but it's also like this kind of goes to the conversation that we had right before the break is like our last few years here haven't been the most joyous. And amongst that is many issues. And one of those is, well, like just finishing around the rim and being aggressive as a guard around the rim. And it's like Hogard, Commodore legend, like he had his moments far and few between, but like for him to finish at the rim the way he does all season, like this isn't specific to today, all season, the way he has this year is impeccable. And like, I think I had the numbers for a little bit, but like his finishing percentage at the rim is like amongst the best in Michigan State history for any underclassman. That's including freshmen or sophomores. He's fantastic. And now you can include behind the arc shooting too, which, well, Michigan State has an issue with so far this season. I don't know if you've heard that or not, but yeah, like he bailed Michigan State out. He had 2 3-pointers on the game, but those are both big 3-pointers. So look, Jace is massive. I don't know what else you can say about him that we already don't know. Like he's an incredible player. 21 points, 6 rebounds. He did have a low number of turnovers, though. You have to give him a knock for that. 0 turnovers and 3 steals on the defensive end. I feel like that is also flying under the radar too. Is that Jace's defense is like he's a plus defender too, and it kind of gets lost in the mix because he's so impressive offensively, and everyone else around him defensively, Akins, Fears, for example, Trey HOLLOMAN, are such great defenders. Like maybe you don't even think of Jace as a great defender, but guess what? Like he is. He's sensational. And now Michigan State has held another team below 70 points. Like it's crazy how good this team is.
Well, and
I'm gonna get emotional right now.
I think the thing about Jace too is that if he wasn't there, like you have to acknowledge. Let's give some credit to Michigan, and this is why I actually think Game 2 is going to go our way.
I have been all season giving credit to Michigan. I've never been nicer to Michigan, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. But
they threw everything that they had. I mean, their dude was literally camping at the basket. The drop coverage was quite extreme. They did everything that they could, and what freed things up, I think, for the guards was actually Jace's ability to start getting dribble penetration, allowed the other guards to start getting dribble penetration. Like, it wasn't just that Jace cooked for Jace. It was that his cooking allowed everyone else to start getting their game going.
Yeah.
I'm not saying – I don't think Jace is the reason we make a run in the tournament. I don't think he's got that gear yet. Next year? Sure.
Please.
But
do anything.
what Jace does for everybody else by being how good he is, like that unlocks everyone else. Because I don't, Fears can't do it yet because he's not 3 levels.
So you missed the 3-pointer at the end there. That was buttery. That was silky, right. Mike. Come on.
He is a stout PNC customer going to the bank on that one. But yeah, I just can't say enough about what a pleasant surprise. It's not even, Jace is more than a pleasant surprise. Like, I never expected this. You don't expect this out of freshmen.
No, of course. Like, even 5-star freshmen aren't this good. And, like, the whole offseason, I like, not to pat myself on the back here, because, believe me, we get plenty of things wrong on this show. We get some things right. I was high on Jace Richardson, namely more so for the defense. I thought that he was going to get on the court because of his defense, what he showed in Spain, what he's also shown in his AAU circuit. I thought he was going to be fine. No, I thought he was going to be good. Never in 100 years, like, this good. Like, how could anyone? Actually, there is one person out there that had him actually mocked in the top 5 of the NBA draft. He's some random NBA Twitter account out there that tagged me, like, after the Monmouth game. Said, hey, I believe in Jace. I'm like, you're a sicko. But no, that guy's actually the only correct person in the world. Like, it is out of control. And it also baffles me, too. It's like, this kid wasn't birthed by, we'll go back to the PNC thing, a banker and a woman who's a crossing guard. Like, no, that's Jason Richardson, who is his dad. He has the NBA pedigree. He knows what it takes to succeed in high-level basketball. How did he fly under the radar as just a 4-star, just a top 50 kid and not a top 20 kid? That will now officially always perplex me when it comes to the Jace Richardson dialogue here. It's like, how did everyone miss this bad on him? I truly don't know.
He's the son of Jason Richardson? Can we acknowledge? I wanted to.
Go ahead.
I was going to table this until the very end, but I got it.
As if the night isn't going good enough. Yeah, sure.
What are your odds on that? Robbie Hummel genuinely thought Noah Eagle was an idiot when he gave the Locked On Spartans plug.
70%. And I was messaging, like, not to like go all big time and like
you I was earned big
Robbie
time
after the game, trying to get him on this show. I should have taken the time to ask him, did you really think? But I'll circle back soon and I'll report back to everyone. But because it truly felt like he genuinely thought Noah just learned that information for the first time at the Purdue game.
He was like, are you stupid, Noah?
Do we need to take a TV timeout to explain to you how to do your job? Yeah, right.
So one of the, if you don't mind, one of the other things that I was curious about your take on is we can celebrate and should celebrate the guard play here.
Yeah,
but the depth at the big spot, because I believe both Zapala and Kohler got in big-time foul trouble.
They made it count, yeah. Right.
And then Tom finally did what I think a lot of people were suspecting would actually happen, which is that Cohen Carr got put on Danny Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And Cohen Carr was, I think, relatively effective in that role.
Yeah.
Like,
I think everyone on him was fine overall. I mean, well, clearly, like, Danny Wolf didn't have a great game. I don't have his whole game logs, but I got to imagine, like, 11 points on 5-11 shooting. It's not a great game for Danny Wolf's standards, of course. But I thought they were, like, it really fascinated me with how they defended him, because I was praying all week that this is going to be a big Frankie Fiddler game, both because I thought Michigan was going to play a lot more zone than they actually did, and that Frankie Fiddler would be the guy in the middle. But also on defense, I thought that Fiddler would be matched up on Wolf. And there were moments where that happened, but it was a carousel. Every time down the court, Wolf was being met with someone different. He never got to actually familiarize anyone's face across from him. He got Carson Cooper. He got Cohen Carr. He got Jackson Kohler. He got Frankie Fiddler. He had Akins on him at one point. I saw Trey HOLLOMAN match up against him for a hot second. Like, that was fascinating. It's like, we're just going to keep this revolving door of guys going, and well, good luck getting comfortable against anyone. And he didn't. I mean, it's crazy because he still had 8 assists, but I never felt like he was really that overly comfortable, at least for, Danny Wolf standards. It's weird because I have been highly complimentary of Michigan this year, which, like, pains me. It doesn't sit well in my heart and my soul, but, like, Danny Wolf is a very good player. I just thought it was an average game from him.
Yeah. I mean, all right, if we're going to be, can we be critical for a second?
I would love to. Yeah. On who, though?
Because
which side? Which side?
On our side.
Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
Because, look, I'm drinking not cough syrup. I'm in a great mood. So, because oh no, this is cough syrup. I'm sorry. But the Booker and Fiddler appearances, this felt like a game that could have been for either of them. Fiddler at times felt timid.
Yeah. Could
have seized more opportunities for himself. It both ended up with 0 and 3. Book had the 3. And then
he did, which was wet. So thank you, Book. Appreciate it.
But like
good looking out.
kind of no shows from the both of them.
Yeah.
And I'm riding high. But the thing about wins like this for me is they move the goalposts. Like we're back in driver's seat, right, in the Big Ten. I mean, we got a tougher road than anyone else, but like you win a game like this, win the Big Ten, right? Like it's in front of you. So these two dudes need to step up, I think, for this team to make a run. And so that's my I think my largest negative on this game.
Which I don't hate, you got to be real about your team even after wins. That's how you know that you're a real fan base and you have real ambitions. Even after a great win like this, you have something to nitpick about. I'm still not overly thrilled about Akins offensively, and this isn't a 1-game sample size. Obviously, it's been like this since the Big Ten schedule has really picked back up. Again, I want to make it clear, Akins is still incredible defensively. That cannot be stated loud enough. What he does against the other team, whether it's on ball, whether it's off ball, great. I'm seeing media members out there mock their all Big Ten defensive team, and Jaden Akins is not on there. It's that's just wrong. That's just not correct. But I do want to talk about. I'm sorry, hold on. I was going to move it to the Big Ten championship chase, unless you have anything else to talk about with this game. Which, if you have 40 minutes of stuff to talk about, I am here for you, Mike. This is. Your show now.
Our podcasts. I'm happy to stay as long. Ask your listeners. Throw their questions in the comments. Let's just run through
comments
all
have
of them.
Never been more popping than they are tonight, and my God, it is all positive on a Friday night here. I actually can't remember a higher listenership live on YouTube. This is great.
And they knew you had Noah Eagle earlier.
I'm sure they knew the strapping gentleman that was Mike Jones was joining this. And they said, "Well, I gotta take a." Look at that tall drink of water over there. But seriously, if you guys have questions in the comments, I mean, we can do this all night. My wife upstairs is very excited to finally hang out with me after a week of dealing with sick children. But honey, it's Mike Jones night after a Michigan win. I lied. I said I wanted to take this down the road of the Big Ten title chase, but it's been 23 minutes. I've been very respectful after a win against Michigan, and I know we got to face them again, and that's not going to be an easy out. But I feel like I got to throw a barb here somewhere.
They suck.
There is something to be said too. And I'm kind of towing the line here. I'm walking on hot coals because they came in winning 6 straight. None of those games were won by 4 points. Their last 7 games, they actually had a negative point differential. That's how bad they got beat by Purdue. Maybe they aren't really that great. And obviously they are a good team, but top of the Big Ten or even top 4 seed in the Big Ten, that is baffling. But the one smarmy thing I was going to say is maybe I don't have the hate in my heart, or maybe I can't get on the show and beat my chest, is because it's a lot more fun doing it against fan bases that care more than just once every 5 years, Illinois fans or Purdue fans or Indiana fans when we beat them. But I don't know. I guess I just can't get up for it when you only care once every Olympic cycle like Michigan fans do. It just feels like something's empty. I'm yelling at a scarecrow, someone that's not really there. So
with their
if you came here for me to weird, right?
What was that?
I'm not sure. I didn't even catch on to it until the second half when someone was shooting a free throw. It's everyone's wearing the same cowboy hat. Was that the giveaway?
Did you see Garrett Norman was wearing after the game?
Are we celebrating country music? What's going on here? But leave it to Chrysler to try to get themselves up for a big game and then just overall kind of have a flaccid atmosphere that Michigan State could, please. If you can get through the Illini game, this was small potatoes. When do you have a good feeling about this game, by the way? I'm kicking this Big Ten conversation down the road even more. I'm sorry.
I don't
Have a
care.
good feeling about this one?
We another peek behind the curtain. I told you on my notes, the only thing I bolded is the 15-0 or 18-0 drought that we went on. So I don't know that I ever had a great feeling. It wasn't. I think it wasn't until we had a very early on in our podcast. I have a theorem about point differentials.
Okay.
So when Michigan State is losing, my thing is you need to keep it within 2x of the number of minutes remaining. So
that is way too much math, but okay.
So if you're at the 4-minute mark, you need to be down by 8 to be in the game, right?
Okay.
Like if you're down by more than 8, no good.
I like that.
At the 3-minute mark, you need to be down by 6, right? Like otherwise you're not in the game. I don't think it was until we crossed that threshold around the 4 or 3-minute mark, and we were up by 11, 9. And then around the 2-minute mark, Dusty May was just like clearly not playing to win. I mean,
yeah.
That to me is
He was already spending his extension money.
He had gone full Mel Tucker on that day. And so, like, my lord, congrats, Michigan. Like, again, IU, you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing. But
do it.
I don't think I ever got comfortable. They have so much money for this. They could do it.
Do they have a famous former NBA owner that is really involved in sports that graduated from? Anyway, but I started to have a decent hunch about this game, and I'd be lying if I said like I thought they were going to win. But like this is where I started to think that okay, maybe good things can happen. And of course, the defense, Jace Richardson, all the classic stuff. Was we gave up the 15-0 run. You're down 4 at halftime, and during that 15-0 run, and I could say this because this is a victory podcast, and I'm not going to come off as salty, but genuinely, during that 15-0 run, how many weird bounces went Michigan's way? Like where they are scrambling rugby style for a rebound, and all of a sudden, it's in Burnett's hands, and oh my goodness, that's a wide open 3, and ka-ching! Like that happened for at least 6 or if not 8 of their points right there. And that's not to say everything else didn't work out in their favor. Danny Wolf was a big reason for that. Them shutting off the valve on Michigan State offensively was big too.
Sure.
But there were some oddities that happened in that run where I'm thinking, okay, they had some massive breaks go their way. We're only down 4. As far as I'm concerned, we're still going to take the court with 5 players, which is good enough to play defense here at Michigan State. I think we can maybe hang around. And then when I really started feeling good was Trey HOLLOMAN. Blap, bagang, shkabow, and then it was just curtains. I mean, God,
that was the momentum shift, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
I will say I want to celebrate you for a second because I appreciate that you have a healthy outlook on what a 3-point percentage looks like. Because for me, even an open 3 for the opposing team, I'm so used to seeing threes not go in.
Gotcha.
It feels like it just murder every time one of them goes in. I think the announcers even commented that like there was a wide open 3 that they missed, and they're like they got lucky on that one. I'm like that feels normal. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't. It feels like we're also in multiple games now of. Looking back at the losses where some of that stuff was happening, right? Like weird rebounds led to runs that we couldn't match.
Sure.
And I think I don't know how we kept it within 4 at the half. I don't, but that is.
I blacked out. Not even off alcohol, just blind fandom. I was like, I don't even know what's truly really happening. But I'm fine with it. Cool.
I yelled at my son. I said, "Get back in bed." It was not pleasant.
Happens.
Yeah, parent of the year. But
I kind of deserve though. Like, truly, get back in bed. Like, don't screw the momentum off right now. Like, what are you doing?
It's after 8:30. Get in bed. So I don't know, man. There's something I can't put my finger on about this team. the fact that they're scoring the second most points all time of a Tom Izzo team per game,
right,
and can't shoot a 3-ball,
and they're broke from behind the arc.
Like, what are we doing here?
It defies logic. It's crazy.
And simultaneously, what are we up to in Ken Pom? He's probably updated, right? This is good for podcasting, right?
I'm a Torviksman over here. So usually
right,
gotta wait a few hours for Torvik. So yeah,
we're 11th in the Ken Pom on defense.
That plays. Oh
good.
Man. Which, like, I got a crazy thing to say. I still feel like it's underrated. I mean, we've seen enough. I mean, especially at the perimeter, it's crazy what they can do. Because what did we just talk about? It was Fletcher Lawyer. What did he have? Only 5 shot attempts.
Was he there?
Makes. Some say I didn't realize until 40 seconds left when he splashed home that last 3. But that's what this defense can do. Or like Jackson Shellstad of Oregon, who goes off for a skrillion points in the first half. Obviously, that wasn't great defense, but did the announcers even call his name in the second half? It's not even that they make shots tough for the other team. Is if there's a guy that's hot for you, well, he's going to have a hard time even seeing the ball in the first place, which I feel like even Danny Wolf had a hard time seeing it in the first 8 minutes of this game until he had that nice 7-point streak and that 15-0 run for himself. The defense can take this team far. Of course, there are warts with this team, but there are warts with every team in college basketball except for 2, perhaps 3. Auburn, Duke.
Sure. Duke. I'll give you Duke.
Argue Houston, but I've seen enough Houston in the NCAA tournament to know to not put them any further than the Sweet 16. So I don't know.
Florida, maybe.
I do like Florida, unfortunately. I know. Yeah.
But
I've liked Golden ever since he was at San Francisco. I've had an eye on him, and it's been nice to see him succeed at Florida. So it's unfortunate, but it's nice. Yeah.
Bama's 6th in Ken Pom and is 48th in defense. Where are they going?
Oh, I didn't know it was that bad. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Wisconsin 7th in Ken Pom and is 40th in defense. I don't know, man. Defense plays. This team is good.
Does.
I want them to be excellent, but they're good.
Yeah. Can we talk about the end of the season here? And I'm sorry,
let's do it.
Drag this conversation out so long. I asked for 30 minutes of you, and we're at minute number 32 right now.
Again, 2 hours is what I have clocked here. So let's make Daddy Locked On angry.
Great. I will wake up to whatever letter with cutout magazine letters he has to send me for going way over 30 minutes here. But so we got 4 games left. It's at Maryland, who the Crab 5 is apparently just very good at basketball, and that pains me to say that Kevin Willard, good coach, after a stunt that he had with Miles Powell a few years ago. Great, whatever. You're going to be 4-point underdogs in that game, the computers tell you, and then it's home against Wisconsin, who is very good, but you're going to be 2-point favorites in that game. Okay, then you're at Iowa, 5-point favorites, but still road games in the Big Ten, never something to sleep on, and then home against Michigan. Bart Torvik has you as 5-point favorites for that game. So they're projecting 3-1 to end the season, whereas Michigan has 5 games left, actually. They got to go to Nebraska, where they're slight 1.7-point favorites in that one. They got to host Rutgers. That's going to be a win. They're favored by 12 in that one. And let me tell you, Mike, no one ever loses as 12-point favorites at home. They just don't. And then, they got to play home against Illinois, 2.5-point spread. Home against Maryland, 2.4 point spread, and then at Michigan State, as you know. So that's a long way of saying that in the 4 games they're favored in, 3 of them are by less than 3 points. Michigan State obviously tied right now with Michigan. They still have a tough road, but Michigan is not an easy road either. And then, of course, you got Wisconsin just waiting there in the back door. They have the easiest end of the season as you possibly can have, but we can't complain about that because, look how we started our season. So confidence level scale of 1 to 10 for Michigan State to raise a banner that says Big Ten champions. Mike, hit me. What are you?
I'm a 10.
Whoa! Oh, let me grab my cough syrup.
I will keep critiquing this team
10.
every day. But so we've got Maryland, Iowa. Mm-hmm. So Maryland on the road may be tricky. I'm sorry. I just don't care for Kevin Willard.
They don't have a lot of depth either, which hopefully
and we do.
Michigan State can win. And our defense travels, as we've seen. So
Wisconsin, I don't know. Maybe it's possible they run out a junk zone and that stymies us. But they're bad defensively.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take us. And yes, they're I think what are they, third in KenPom in offense?
They could be there.
I'm sorry.
White hot. So,
but you know what? I don't care. We're very good defensively. So, and that's at Breslin. So Maryland on the road, slightly scarier. I don't care. Michigan at home, W. Chalking it up as a W. And if it's senior night for potentially the Big Ten title, like, I'm sorry. I know. I can't. And again, I will credit Michigan. They did a very good job this game. They did an excellent job this game. And then we figured it out. And then they didn't do a good job. Like, I don't think round 2 is going to go to Dusty May. I think it's going to go to the Hall of Fame coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't think that's a crazy take, and particularly like green glasses on that one. Iowa, weirdly, if you told me that's the game we drop.
Oh, I've said it on recording that they will beat Michigan, they'll beat Maryland, they'll beat Wisconsin, lose to Iowa. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've said it. Oh, yeah. It'll be stupid. Can't wait for it.
But, like,
right.
Also, in a vacuum, is that game scaring you? I don't know.
Yeah,
I just keep coming back to this team has not been blown out.
Right.
It has not been blown out. Two of the 3 losses that we experienced were in the little stretch were out west against I think a talented UCLA team, and then the USC game was a stinker. I don't know, man. Like, I can't come into any game and expect us to lose at this point in time, and I can't have said that, or I wouldn't have said that about this team for the last 4 years. But right now, we're good.
What also helps this team is that, well, you get until Wednesday to prepare for it. And then after that, you get until Sunday. And, like, those are sizable breaks because I have to point this out right now. This team had 3 games in 6 days.
They need a break.
At Iowa, home against Purdue, and then at Michigan, all crammed in 6 days, and you went 3-0. Tom Izzo, are you serious? Like, you are that guy. Like, we obviously knew that. Like, you were incredible. You're a legend. You're the GOAT. You are the king of the Big Ten. But, like, hot damn, you're about that life, Tom. Like, just sweeping that 3-game slate, and none of those teams were anything to sneeze at. You were underdogs in 2 of those games. You were down at halftime in 2 of those games. Like, it were they? No, they weren't down against Purdue in that game, were they? No. My point still stands, though. Whatever it was,
I think we were down 4. Weren't we down 4 against Purdue in the half?
Sure. Why not?
Jan, I want to.
Regardless, you get the point. Incredible 3-game stretch in 6 days. You actually finally get a chance to breathe before you got to go to Maryland and finish out the rest of your season, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Jan, I want to flip this on you. Assume my thesis is right.
Yeah.
Michigan State wins out.
Yeah.
What's the comp? What team does this comp?
I got like is it just easy? Is it 2019? Where like they came off.
What did everyone say about that team?
When things were good or bad?
I'm saying when COVID canceled the season.
Oh, that I'm sorry. I was thinking of the one that made the Final Four, but you're thinking of that team
that also lost 3 games in the first week of February.
Correct. And then had the injury to Nick Ward. And then, oh, my God, you got to go on the road and beat Illinois. You got to go on the road and beat Michigan. And sure, yeah, what's the big deal, they say. I think they said it was a good team, though, if you're thinking about the year after. Regardless, any way you slice it, whether it's 19 or 20, like I think things turned out pretty well, and we're trending well at the end of the season. And that's another thing, too, that like even Greg was talking about when he joined the pregame show. It's like, I don't think MSU has reached their final form yet, too. It's like, how Tom Izzonian is this right now to be in late February, and there's still another gear you feel like with this team.
And that's why I don't feel bad about complaining about Book and Fiddler. And to a degree, one of those dudes, I don't particularly care which one. And I think, frankly, my preference is for Fiddler, merely because he does all of the intangibles. That he rebounds harder, right? Like, he passes better. He's better on defense, right? Like, I think we can all agree that he's better on defense.
Certainly.
Those dudes need to keep shooting. Because I think for this team to hit its final form, to get like, are we doing this or not? Right? Is one of those guys needs to become a scorer, and I don't need them to be Jace scorers, but I need them to be in the like 10 to 12 down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I think Franklin, for a variety of reasons, is our best option for doing that.
I think so. Because
It's a
he's at
swan
least
song.
proven it. I mean, yeah, right.
Like,
Right.
you don't have another shot after this, man. Like, shoot the ball. Like, I don't know. Like, there's nothing about the looks he's taking. That's what was so disappointing. And I hate to be negative because, God, that win was awesome. But was so frustrating is that my dude is a scorer, and I know he is. And he knows he is, but he's acting like he's not. And,
yeah, I'm conflicted on it because, like, he still gets to the line decently enough. And I guess when the numbers...
Does he?
I think so, or at least when he gets into traffic, if it's not a foul, then at least it's a good kick out. I mean...
Oh for O tonight, man. Like, Franklin, shoot the ball. I need he had 3 boards and that's his only stat. No, I'm sorry, 1 turnover.
Yeah. Oh, he shot 3 times at least. Yeah, yeah.
No, he didn't shoot.
Sure he did. I mean, it doesn't matter. It wasn't enough.
Oh no, you're right. He did. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the team stat.
It's fine. Like it's not like he shot 13 times and you're saying he shot 0. 3 shot attempts is what he had. I mean, it is what it is. But
yeah,
if one of those 2 guys though can get going though, like, yeah, of course. Like, I don't care. If one of them can, and we've seen them both do it, but never for a full game, only for like a half. But when it happens, it's very exciting. Like, it does change everything about this team, especially with those 2 guys, namely against a zone defense, which, like, not to go back to like talking about the game and breaking it down, I am surprised Michigan didn't go to zone that much. And they did it here and there. They mixed in like a chase and 1. I even saw one time, but like I really thought they were going to go mostly zone it. But anyway, the point you're making, I wholly agree with. Like, if one of those guys can produce, like, that's your next gear for Michigan State. Or if Akins can like actually be an offensive contributor, like, don't threaten me with a good time. Don't let me twice to San Antonio. I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
We don't want to get Syracused, man. Like, we don't want to get Syracused.
Now you're bringing the good vibes over here.
Brother, but like, what are we talking about right now? We're talking about a team that is that good that we can be worried about these things. And so, like,
I think nice.
Right. So, I can't see the live stream, and I don't really particularly want to, but like, I'm not trying to be overly negative here. The people talk
There's
about
not a single negative comment here. So yeah,
athletes talk all the time about pressure is a privilege, right?
Yeah.
And that's where we are. Is that we get to be critical of this team not because we want to limp into the tournament, but because we have the opportunity actually to do something great. Maybe it's teeing up next year. I don't know, but like, it's fun. I'm having a good time, Matt. Are you having a good time, Matt?
Like, I had this tweet after the Purdue game. It's like, when Michigan State basketball is fun, life is fun. And I know it's so pathetic to, like, especially, hey, as a father of children and, just trying to be a productive member of society. But, like, truly, like, this winter is a lot better because, like, I'm rooting for a team that is sick at basketball. Like, it sounds ridiculous. And, of course, I do love my family above everything else. But, like, this is just, like, a nice cherry on top. Like, oh, my God, I actually have something to look forward to when Michigan State plays basketball. Mike, it was not like that the last few years. I've said this repeatedly this season, that even last year, after some of the wins, all that we could do was just talk negative about this team because it would be disingenuous to carry any other tone into the show. Like last year's win against Northwestern, when they beat them 53-51, when the tournament berth was on the line.
Boo booies.
Thank God he's dead. It's like, I am so happy to just be actually talking and watching Michigan State basketball when they are playing this style, this brand, actually caring, leaving their egos at the door or never even having one in the first place.
Yeah.
And just playing that Tom Izzo style basketball. It is.
Are we at the end of an era though? Like I know we're reaching
the era
time.
ended 5 years ago, but like
No, but like I mean,
reborn.
Like really though, I think we should all take a moment to appreciate how special it is what we're experiencing.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Yeah.
Shout out Tom. Like you gave us all the middle finger and did it somehow anyway, and said I'm going to do it my way. You brought in some transfers, but like you're still doing it your way. But he's playing 10. And then people were like, "You need to narrow it down, Tom." And he started playing Kurtang out of nowhere.
Time. That's right. It's make 11.
like shout out Tom, but like, you know, how many OKGs can you realistically land?
12 apparently, right?
But we're probably. I don't know. I don't know how much longer we have this. So I do think we've got one more year, and that's awesome. Mm-hmm. But like, and I'm not saying Tom, but like Tom's way, right? Like,
sure.
This is a. We talk about this a lot on our podcast. College sports is forever changing. You're living a moment right now with this basketball team that you may never see again.
Yeah.
And so for not to get like existential here, but like
no, do it. Yeah.
But like this team is really special, not just because they could make a run, but like also Tom's playing 10 dudes. Book is sitting most of the game and is a top 5 recruit. Like I don't know. I don't know that we see this again. And it's an incredible time. And like, yes, athletes should be paid. I'm all for it, but I'm an old man on this, and that like college sports is the Big Ten and the SEC just met with private equity. Like stuff's changing.
That's fine. Minute 46. Who's going to listen to that? It's fine.
All right, but stuff's changing, and it's not for the way that you used to like. I'm slightly older than you. You used to see Paul Davis walking through, man. And there was a deadness in his eyes. Like he clearly. All he could think about was making free throws, but but there was something about that relationship you had with a common experience with athletes that is we're well past that, and I don't know that we're coming back. And so for this particular moment, for this team to buy into the OKG kind of ethos, I don't know how far they make it. Maybe I'll say the evil words. Maybe we get Middle Tennessee State did again.
Oh jeez.
But like. This is a special team, and so like enjoy this moment is I guess where I'm going to go end it.
I think that's a great way to end it right there because like the sickness is going around everyone, Mike. I understand. Take all the syrup you need right now. It is unique, and like you even go to like reunion weekend against Oregon. I mean, like it's so cliche, it's so corny, and yes, like of course alumni are always going to show up to their programs to some degree. I've had a tremendously hard time believing though it's at the extent of Michigan State, and it's because of the culture, it's because of what Tom Izzo was built. And you're seeing it just with what you said, the OKGs, the style of play that you see, just like leaving it all in the court. And yeah, there was what seemed to be a little hiatus, whether it was culturally or whether it was like the product of the court was really just that bad, or it's Fieldhouse. Unfortunately, their $2 beer specials. Hoops amongst us. I've been burning that many a times in that building back in circa 2014. But whatever it is, it's even more impressive that they've really pulled this back into the program. They've made a new chapter and are making it count so far. And again, like this isn't like a culmination episode of, hey, we've did it. We've reached the mountaintop. They've accomplished all their goals. No, it's still a hard end of the season. But sometimes you got to stop and pause and like appreciate what you are watching. Like banner or no banner, like this team has done incredible things. They have won games on the road as underdogs that they haven't in years. Like I think I've gone back and I looked up how many top 25 games they've won on the road in the last 4 years. It's been a while since I've done that episode, but I think it was only like 1 or 2. And even those 2 times, like that team they faced ended up not being that great overall. But like this was a good Michigan team tonight. This is a legitimate top 25 team. That was a very talented Illinois team they just beat. That was a top 25 Purdue team they just beat. Like, they're running through it. And they're doing
Illinois top 25 when we beat them too? Are we 3-0?
They were not, which was very surprising, but we were still 6 point under. Like, Ken Palm, like, princesses, but, like, not a people. Like, yeah, right.
We're 3-0 against net top 25 teams anyway, this over the last week.
In 6 days. It's crazy. It's crazy. So,
man, but let's raise a banner. Like, this team can.
I would. Yeah.
And I think it's okay to say, I'll be disappointed if they don't.
Yeah.
Like, and
yeah.
And the great thing is, last year I remember commenting on the pod that I was angry at the team.
How could you not be? How could you not be?
When that I love college basketball. Yeah. And when they lost that tournament game and they were done, that I was angry because there was not any more college basketball to watch. Like, I'm done at that point in time. Like, and for this team,
yeah.
I do think that I can end the season wherever they end up and not be angry at them. But my God, if they can raise a flag at the end of this, I'll be thrilled. I'll be a proud dad.
I'll buy the hoodie. I'll buy the locker room hat. I don't care what it is. Yeah, if they don't do it, obviously we'll be disappointed, but it won't be that anger. It'll be, I don't know what the word to use. Like, we would deem it a failure because we said at the beginning of the season it's either banner or bust, and that's when, back at the start of the season, when we didn't know what this team really was, I said, like, I don't think this team can actually do it or will do it, but you are a blue blood program. You can't go 5 years without a banner.
Right.
But still, like, if you
Final Four, you can not win the conference, but if you get to the Final Four,
any
forgiven.
Piece of fabric in the rafters, I can talk myself into Big Ten tournament being something to get fired up about, but hopefully that's a discussion that we're waiting on the future of, hey, which banner that we've hung this year is the best one. So Doug writes in, don't hang that banner upside down like Illinois.
Dude, we need to circle back on a conversation about like, it's wild to me that they're raising jerseys in Illinois, and we're still like waiting for Denzel and Cassius.
Correct. I had the
what are you doing?
Right. Because, like, I'm truly conflicted with that, and I had a conversation with Sonny of Locked On Illini, and on one hand, like, sure, like, give your guy their flowers. You know, like, if they made All-American, if they were this great of a player, you know what? That's awesome. Celebrate people, but there is something to be said about we've got national players of the year. We had first-team All-Americans 9 years ago. They're still waiting. So you tell me who the serious program is.
Is Cassius lacking flowers? Like, is Denzel lacking flowers? Like,
I know. Whereas if you're Illinois, like, Aaron Henry's numbers up there already. Cassius Tillman's up there. Jaren Jackson's probably already up there. Miles Bridges is up there. Travis Trice probably has something up there for his 2015 run, which, like, I get, like, respect those guys, but the rafters are special.
You put it in the locker room or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like a nice little tile on the floor. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, or like above the lockers. I don't know, but Mickey Mouse nonsense. Just couldn't be a less serious program.
That's still my favorite one of the year. Serious. As fun as this was tonight, and, like, I despise Michigan with every fiber of my being. Like, that win last Saturday was has sustained me the entire week. It's been great. It's been great. Not afraid to admit it. Mike, I've stolen a lot more of your time than I ever thought I could. This has been fantastic. Oh, my God. This is like 75-62. Oh, my goodness. On the road, down 4 at halftime. 18-2 run given up in the first half. No problem. We'll beat you by 12 anyway. No issue.
And we're going to win the last one, man. We're going to win the last one. I don't care what Greg says.
Do you promise?
Dude, it's senior. Like,
I know.
That's Jaden Akins' night.
Well, he hit 2 threes that night finally.
My dude, that man is going to channel Travis Trice in a spiritual way that will carry him through for the remainder of the tournament. Otherwise, he's dead to me. But
okay. Okay.
Like,
I like that.
I mean, honestly, though, I kind of mean it sincerely. Jaden Akins, as much as we'd like more this year, right? Is there anyone that actually kind of sums up Tom Izzo more concretely?
When the
Dude's
going
been
gets tough, like
tampered
he's
with.
not like moping, like he's not openly, making a draw. I don't even know if he has social media to begin with. So like that fits the Tom Izzo billing to begin with. I never thought about it, but yeah, I think he nailed it. I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah, if you happen to be, not you personally, but dear listener, if you happen to be in the stands that night, like, cheer extra loud for Jaden Akins, because I don't know that there's a more OKG. Like, Jaden Akins used to be our most athletic dude on the team, and then Cohen Carr showed up. Like, I don't know. It's just, he's a special player that has a weird bridge between the worst of times and potentially now the best of times. And so, and people would have taken him, right? Like,
sir, yeah, of course they would. Yeah. If you go through his phone log, there are area codes from different college campuses that
Dusty May might have called. So yeah,
who is to say?
Yeah. Anyway, so like, I don't know. Jaden Akins, legacy night that night. Calling it now.
You mentioned Cohen Carr, and I don't know. We said we were going to end this episode like 3 times.
I don't give a shit.
Now.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. We're at minute 56. No one is listening right now. Let me just go ahead and timestamp that. There is nothing that makes me happier in the world right now than not having to do any part of an episode that has to talk about Trey HOLLOMAN somehow against all odds airmailing Cohen Carr on an alley-oop. How hard is that to do from 20 feet away? Like,
Brother,
you almost have to scrape their NIT banner in the rafters to miss Cohen Carr on an alley-oop and then have it turn around into a Michigan dunk. But hey, turns out
we didn't even see it because he airballed so bad and so quickly that I don't know what happened. I just heard Robbie Hummel say, you have to miss by a lot to miss Cohen Carr.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's right. God, love Robbie Hummel, but like nothing hits like a shotgun to the chest more than Robbie says that, because that's not the first time he said that this year on a missed alley-oop to Cohen Carr. I don't know how they continually keep missing him, but hey, this is an upbeat episode. We want to send people on a good note. What do you got?
We also should be thankful. Everyone say praise. We did not get Gus Johnson. We got, honestly, could you ask for a better crew?
No.
I mean, we got as good of a crew to call the game as bad of a crew as we did to referee the game.
I like that. That's unfortunately true. Yeah.
And I'm not saying like it netted out bad for Michigan State, but like
no, I think the refs were actually fine for the first Big Ten.
No one wanted that crew though.
No,
like
of course not. Like anytime you see the high knees going, it's like this effing guy again.
But Benetti, Hummel, Raff, like. That's a dream.
That's 3 for 3. Like the only thing that's missing is my guy Noah Eagle. That's the only thing that's missing to make it a full barbershop quartet up there. It's
Who's competitive with Benetti? Like, I mean, Noah Eagle is that good. Like,
Alien Space wrote in, can we get Dookie Vitale for a game? I can't tell if you're doing a bit, but if this year was 2007, I would say yes.
Is he back? He's calling games again, isn't he?
I hope everything's okay with him health-wise. Obviously, I'm not a monster, but like. You talk about 15 years past your time. All set with Dick Vitale. All good. Thank you.
It's a real Corso situation we've got.
Corso's still likable, at least. That was really mean of me. That was mean.
Let's shoot your shot, man.
What episode you watch? I love Bill Raftery. You know what? I got to meet Bill Raftery really quick. This is in 2019. Only time I've really been like starstruck in my entire life. The revolving doors open in Minnesota. I'm going into a hotel to like buy some merch for the Final Four, and oh my God, who's there in front of me? It's Bill. And I say like, oh my God, Bill, I love you. And he's like, oh my God, that's so nice. Thank you. I'm like, can I please get a picture with you? He's like, yeah. Sure. His daughter was there too, like kind of handling him, and she took the picture. Just such a sweet, nice guy. He was probably up till 4 a.m. on a bender, famously as Bill does, but like such a nice guy.
His drinking joke mid game was A+. It
hits every time. Like, yeah, the guy's timing is fantastic. So
I honestly, he makes jokes about how old he is, and then he says things that aren't jokes, like calling them the Knickerbockers. Then I'm like, oh, you are that old.
And that's unironic.
Right. You are that old, my man. Like
the Minnesota Lakers. Yeah, he's Oh man.
We've got way
this
over.
Is pleasant.
Yeah.
Y'all, like Mr. Lockdown's probably going to knock on my bedroom window at 3 a.m, being like, "What the hell were you doing an hour-long podcast? We told you 30 minutes is the precise time you should do." And all I'm gonna do is just flash the numbers: 7-5, 6-2, final score of this game. That's all that matters. It's
people listen over the whole weekend. Just you're working out right now. Pause it. Hit your next workout. Listen to the rest of it.
Let's go. Wow, people work out? No, that's crazy. Good for them. Run that run says such a fun game to be at. Oh, not enough money in the world could. Oh my God.
Did you?
That's amazing.
All right. I'm gonna make lockdown matter. But did you see next to Michigan State bench, the courtside seats?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There was like 3 very sort of generic dudes decked out in their yellow shirts.
Sure.
And then there was one lady in a green shirt that was sitting right next to where Tom was.
Oh, our strongest soldier. Let's go.
Yeah, and I don't know who she is, but I want to celebrate her as clearly a rebel. Not a Michigan State shirt. It was
just enough.
It was just enough
where you wouldn't be politely asked to leave those seats because those are probably pretty premier seats, I would imagine.
You got to give a lot of money for those.
One could think at a school that is known to give a lot of money. Good for our strongest soldiers are just showing up. Meanwhile, I'm here spilling beer all over my kid's playmat in the second half of the game after a big-time Jackson Clore offensive rebound. I got some cleaning to do after this episode. It's neither here nor there. Shout out to that lady is the thesis of this last statement. One time. Good job, Jace. Good job, Trey. Whatever. Who cares? Go green shirt lady. Let's go.
Go white.
I love you guys. I love you, Mike. I love Can't Can't Write. Let's keep going. Let's keep winning. Let's do the banner. Let's go. God.